Hi! In this video, I want to show you how to use the Harmonic Predictor script on TradingView. Harmonic Predictor works slightly different than Harmonic Scanner because it tries to predict where a harmonic pattern might appear in the future. It does that by trying to match what we see on the chart to the X, A, B, and C points of any existing harmonic formation, and then it draws where the point D should be located to complete the pattern. Okay, it's easier to understand how it works with some examples, so let's start by adding the script to the chart. So first, let's click on the indicators, and in the invite-only script, search for Harmonic Predictor. I added it to my favorites, so it's already here. And just like Harmonic Scanner Pro, it's an invite-only script. So if you want to test it for 7 days, just leave a comment on the website of the script. So once you see that you have this green paddle lock, just click the script and it will be added to the chart. And as you can see, we have two possible predictions. One is for a deep crab down, so a sell pattern that might appear here. Oh, actually we have 3 predictions down and they are all for cipher. They all predict that cipher that starts from here, goes here, here, and here. And if the price direction will change, there might be some cipher patterns here. Although the place where the cipher pattern starts is not the best one, so we will have to configure some options to make it better. We'll do that in a moment. But first, let's take a look at how the example prediction looks like. Let me also draw a harmonic pattern using the standard tools. So we go from here, 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 and somewhere here there might be the point D. So once again, how the harmonic predictor works is that it looks, we have this move here, and it tries to check that, if we put the point X here, point A here, point B here, and point C here, then if the price gets to here, we will actually have a deep crab pattern. Does it mean that the price actually will go up here? Well, no. The price might change direction right now, and we will never get this deep crab pattern. But it might not change the direction, and it actually might get up here. And if you own the Apple stocks, then it might be a good time to consider selling it, because we will have a deep crab pattern, and there is a chance that the stock will change direction and it will start going down. So let's check some other example predictions, but first let me change the depth of a zigzag pattern. So we say the depth of a zigzag pattern should be around 20. That's a good default value for all the scripts that I have been showing you so far. I want to show the zigzag. I want to hide the retracement levels because it's too much information. Maybe change the size of the line. And I think we are good. So now we got rid of predictions that are starting in the middle of the move. Well, still we have one here. But in other cases, the patterns are actually starting in right places, let's say. Let's look at some other examples of harmonic predictor. I checked some other instruments on my watch list and I found that this one has some interesting patterns. As you can see, we have some opposite predictions. There is a chance for a crab and alternate bat, but there is also a chance for a cipher. So you will often see opposite predictions. Which one should you choose? Well, one of the most useful advice when it comes to trading is that trend is your friend. So if the stock has been going up for the past year, there is a bigger chance that it will keep going up instead of suddenly changing direction and start going down. So here you can see the stock has been going up. And even though this might be a correction that can go down here, it's also very likely that the trend will simply continue going up. I don't want to go into too much detail on how to interpret patterns in this video, so I will post another one on this topic in the future. But I want you to remember one important thing. Let me find another chart. Oh, this one is good. So as you can see, here we have a pattern that goes from here. It actually starts even earlier. It goes from here to here, here, and the point C is located here. And the price is also here. Does it mean that the price will now change direction and crash all the way here? No, absolutely not. You should interpret the situation as if the price changes direction and starts going down, it might end up here, not that it will definitely change direction here. Keep in mind that those scripts are completely automatic. They have no access to any financial information, so they can't make predictions that, oh, now the price might actually change direction because something happened. No, all the script says is that the price is now here, so here is the high point of our zigzag pattern, and it's being used as the C point. If the price keeps going up, this point will probably disappear. Let's check some other predictions. Maybe not stocks, but also futures. Let's talk a bit more about this rectangle. What does it mean? Why this rectangle? Well, the size of the rectangle depends on the error tolerance. So here we have 5% by default. So it means that point D, the ideal point D would be in the middle of this rectangle, but since we allow 5% of error tolerance, it can span from here all the way to here. And when you hover over this label, you can see that the XAD point can be from 1.53 to 1.69. And also this rectangle is drawn at the level of the current bar. So it doesn't mean that we have that many bars when the price can go up. And if it doesn't manage to get to that point within, well, 5 bars or so, then we won't have the harmonic pattern. No, this is just a simple placeholder that draws the rectangle from the current bar 5 bars in the future. So what is important here is the price level, not where on the X label this rectangle is located. Okay, let's now talk about the configuration options. Let me go back to this stock. A lot of configuration options are common between Harmonic Predictor and Harmonic Scanner and Harmonic Scanner Pro. So if you have seen my video about Harmonic Scanner Pro, you will probably recognize a lot of those options. First of all, we have the depth of a zigzag pattern, which defines which points should be considered when we look for the zigzag pattern. The higher this number, the less points will be used on the chart. As I always say, 20 is a good default value. Next, we have an error tolerance that will specify how far from the ideal pattern can those patterns that we found be. So if we say we accept 5% error tolerance, it means that if some specific retracement should be exactly 1.0, we will accept anything between 0.95 and 1.05. If you want to be more strict, you can lower it down to 3 or 2%. And you can also increase this value, but well, anything above 5% is not really a harmonic pattern. And next we have a number of points to check. So here you can define how many last points can be used to check for harmonic formation. For the harmonic predictor, it doesn't really matter what you put here. 10 is a good default value. And anyway, any harmonic pattern that you find will be located close to here. So if you put 20 or 50, most of the harmonic patterns that, let's say, were predicted here has already materialized or were already negated if the price went into opposite direction. Next, you can select if you want to display the up and down pattern. So if you're not interested in short selling stocks, then probably you don't want to see the down patterns, so you can disable them. And on the other hand, if you only want to short stocks and you only want to see the patterns that tell you when to sell it, you can disable the up, so buy patterns. You can also change the color of the label and color of the text if you find it hard to read. So apart from disabling all the up or down patterns, you can disable some specific patterns. For example, if you only want to find the Gartley pattern, you can disable all the other patterns. By default, all the pattern predictions are enabled, but the shark pattern. I've disabled shark because it's very relaxed with some rules. And I've noticed that you will actually find a lot of shark predictions, even though quite often they will not materialize. But feel free to enable it. Next, we have option to draw the zigzag pattern. So a line that will connect the high and low points that we are checking. Show retracement levels. So you can see on the label for each pattern what are the values for the retracement levels. You can enable the show no formation label, and it will put a label whenever it can't find a prediction for a specific point. For this script, it doesn't make any sense to enable it. And then there is option to show multiple patterns that is enabled by default. So what it does is that if there are, let's say, 2 Gartley patterns and you disable this option, only the first Gartley pattern will be displayed. Let me try to find an example. So here we have a good example. We have 4 predictions for a cipher pattern. And if we disable this option, you will see that we are only getting the first prediction right now. Next, you can change the width of the zigzag line. And for the formation line. And you can also change the style of the formation line. By default, it's set to solid, but you can also use a dotted or dashed line. So this is a very nice option when you have the harmonic predictor and harmonic scanner on your chart at the same time. So you can easily distinguish which lines belong to the actual patterns and which belong to the predictions. Let's use the dots. Next, we have move charts. So if we have multiple patterns that share the same points, quite often you will see that the lines are hiding each other. So if I disable the move charts, you can see that the green line is hiding underneath the red line. So to make it easier to see how those lines go, you can enable these move charts. And now lines don't hide under each other. And then finally, we have quite a lot of checkboxes that lets you disable or enable some specific retracement values. It's the same as for Harmonic Scanner Pro. So let me show the retracement values. And let's take a look at this alternate bat pattern. So for the alternate bat, the first retracement, XAB, has to be located around 0.38. And here we have it at 0.40. If we disable this checkbox, you will not find any alternate bat patterns because you disabled the only retracement value that was available. So don't disable this. But for the ABC retracement, you have more options available. So the ABC retracement can be either 0.38, 0.5, and so on. Here we have 0.9, which is within the 5% margin from 0.88. So let's say if you want to find all the alternate bat patterns, but they shouldn't use the 0.88 retracement value, you can uncheck this. And now this pattern has disappeared. And the same for BCD and XAD retracements. So what's the point of enabling, disabling those checkboxes? Well, by default, I'm using the retracement values that Scott Carney has described in his books. But maybe you come from a different background, you read someone else's book, and they say that, well, the best alternate bat pattern is the one that is using only the 0.5 ABC retracement. So you can go here, disable all the other retracements, and now you are using your own methodology. I can't really recommend you what are the best retracement values. I like to use the default ones, but maybe you have your own opinion. But if you want to use the original harmonic patterns, you can stick with the default options. And as you can see, you can change the retracement levels for every pattern. So that's about it when it comes to options. Let's now talk about setting up alerts. So just like with Harmonic Scanner Pro, you can add alerts by right-clicking on the chart and choosing Add Alert. Under the condition, choose Harmonic Predict, that stands for Harmonic Predictor. And here you can enable some additional checks. So if you want to get a pop-up in the application, you can check this checkbox. This will show a pop-up in this browser TradingView platform. You can also get an email or enable a webhook alert. And finally, you can change the alert name if you want. Although you will always see for which instrument this alert was called, so I usually don't change this value. So once you add an alert, you can see this on the list of your existing alerts. And basically when you set up an alert, you'll get a pop-up when a new prediction appears. Let me show you how this pop-up will look like. So to not wait for next few days until we get an actual alert, I will switch to, let's say, cryptocurrencies because they are traded 24/7. I will switch to a very small interval and change the error tolerance to very high. So a lot of things will be detected on the chart, but those things are not actually harmonic patterns. Let's put the error tolerance to 20%. So now I will add an alert. I can do this here, or I can go to the alerts menu and add it from here. Choose the harmonic predictor. Let's name it test alert. As you can see, we have those weird lines like that because we are moving charts. So we can disable this option. And now we have a bunch of predictions that, well, they don't even resemble actual harmonic patterns. And we are still waiting for our alert to appear here. Sometimes it takes a bit longer. Maybe something went wrong. Let's try again. And as you can see, we have this alert notification. Actually, we get a lot of alerts, and now every 5 seconds we'll get one new. Unless there is no change, but don't enable alerts for 5 seconds with such a huge error margin, because otherwise you will be bombarded with alerts. So let me quickly remove this guy. And this guy can stay. Let me restore the configuration to default values. Here you can select Restore Settings, click OK, and we are back to what we had at the beginning. So that's how you can use the Harmonic Predictor. I like to combine it with the Harmonic Scanner because that way I can see the existing harmonic patterns and the harmonic patterns that might appear in the future. So my setup usually involves setting this to 20 and changing the formation line style to something like dotted or dashed. And then I can add the Harmonic Scanner Pro. Here again, depth of a zigzag to 20. And we should be good. Let's find some interesting stock. This one looks interesting, but I have to change some things. So for the Harmonic Scanner Pro, I also want to disable moving charts because it moves things too much. Well, I was hoping to find a stock that has an existing harmonic pattern formed somewhere, and then we have another prediction, because that's usually the best setup. So when you see that, for example, well, let's go here. Let's say if this cipher would finish here and I had a prediction, oh, here's a new one. So we have a cipher that finished here, and then we have a prediction for a butterfly here. So if I notice that the price starts going down, this would be a good resistance level where I might buy this Forex pair. So as I said, Harmonic Predictor can work very well with the Harmonic Scanner Pro, but it can also work well on its own. Check out our other videos to see how to use the Harmonic Predictor as part of your technical analysis toolset, how to fix some common errors, how to set it up, and to learn what other indicators we have. If you want to test Harmonic Predictor for a week, just leave a comment on TradingView under the script and I will give you access. And if you want to learn more about the script, you can also check out our website where we described it in a great details.